Hi everyone, I'm going to teach you how to leave Facebook within 5 minutes. This whole thing takes about a year to do, but this is a 5-minute rundown of the steps you need to take. So this is how you leave Facebook. It's simple. You end your addictive behavior. Then you own your network. You migrate your contacts to other networks. You stop posting any new content on Facebook. And after you've stopped adding any new content or connections, you download your data. Then you disconnect your Facebook account from other apps because actually your Facebook is logging you into many other apps. You deactivate Facebook for a number of years, meaning that your data isn't deleted, but you're not looking at it. You deactivate Messenger. And finally, maybe you delete Facebook, I don't know. And an alternative is to create maybe a website or another thing for yourself, something that you own. Let's go through it. So ending addictive behavior. This is a large philosophical topic that we can't go into, but we know that the addictive behavior comes from the addictive hits that come to us through notifications. So silence your notifications. Otherwise, you have to look into yourself and really understand what is it that's going on in your life that is making you addicted to it. So you have to make these behavioral changes. You have to talk about it with your friends and family. You can't just look on the internet to solve this problem. You have to look around your real social network and slowly move away from spending so much attention on it. Once you've done that, you need to own your network. And here I'm going to give you a funny story. I once met a consul, a US consul working in a foreign country. And as they came in, I said, oh, how do you stay in touch with everyone? Because a consulate overseas is really just a social networking hub for, US interest in another country and people living there. And they said, oh, we just have a gigantic Excel file. At first I laughed. I thought, oh my gosh, how archaic that they have a gigantic Excel file and that their social network is just one gigantic Excel file. And they said, no, actually this database can be imported into other social media apps or other connection forms. And this is the source of our network. The true source of your network is not the connections you have on an app. It's this raw database of real connection information. And I said, oh, so what I need to do is I need to own my network. I need to get onto a database. Basically, very simply, I need to use an Excel spreadsheet. Now, it doesn't need to be Excel. You can use Google Contacts, Outlook Contacts, or whatever you're using, but you start using a contact management system that exports into, text files. Then you need to start migrating your contacts. You need to migrate your contacts from their Facebook-only access point into your database. But you do this in a number of ways. First, you download all the other apps. This sounds counterintuitive. You're like, oh, but I want to leave social media. No, this is only about leaving Facebook. You download all the other apps so that it's easy for your friends to stay in touch with you. You download the other apps, and at the same time, you dedicate yourself to spending some time on your contact management system. Then, every time you get a message on Facebook, you tell your contacts this simple message. I'd like to have your phone number and email address. I'm leaving Facebook. Then, once they give you that, you connect with them on another app, and you put that into your contact management system. You go back to them on Facebook and tell them, okay, now that I've connected you on another app, I'm going to block you on Facebook because I need to do that to push the relationship off. Sometimes people are like, what? You're blocking me on Facebook? They take it personally, but they don't understand. If you stay connected with them on Facebook, the ease of using Facebook will make them continue to chat with you there, and that will continue to put new data onto it. So once you connect with them on another app, you block them from Facebook. You sustain this for a year. So throughout the year, every message you get, you start migrating it over. And pretty soon, you will have migrated everyone that you talk to within a year over to another app and into your contact management system. You can go on for many years if you have a lot of people. All right, then you have this idea. Your last Facebook post ever. Your last Facebook post is asking your friends, those who still read your Facebook, and how many still do, for their email address and their phone number, and for them to tell you that either to your email or in your Facebook message or whatnot. But that's it. That's your last post. You pin that post to the top of your wall and you're done. Then you need to stick with it that you're not going to put any more data onto Facebook, because then it's harder to leave. That's your last post. You try to gather your friends' information. You can use like an online survey if you want. You leave that up there and you're leaving. Then the next one is because you're no longer making connections and you're no longer putting content onto Facebook, you download your Facebook data and you back it up in 3 places: a machine, a cloud, and external storage. Before you do any deactivating of your Facebook, you need to move your photos and videos to another place. Facebook gives you free photo like cloud storage, and that's why it's so addicting. But all right, you're going to need to own some cloud storage for your photos. And finally, and an important one, and we started here with your friends' birthdays, there's actually a browser plugin that can download all your friends' birthdays from your Facebook account, make it a calendar that you can import into Google Calendar or Outlook. So then you'll still get the reminders of your friends' birthdays. Okay, now you have this idea of federation. Federation is the idea that, okay, although the United States has one passport, each state is actually its own different, completely unique government. And this is an issue with Facebook, where you have one Facebook login, but you use that login for other accounts, completely different things: SoundCloud, Twitter, doesn't matter. You are in this system of federation. This federation is supposed to make it easier for you to log in, but it makes it much harder for you to leave Facebook, because now you need to have your Facebook account to log into your other apps. Fortunately, you have to go into all the other apps that you use Facebook as your login credential, and you need to switch from Facebook as your login to your email address as your login. Okay, you're thinking this is really complicated. Although this is complicated, it's a part of a bigger strategy of controlling your data, which is that you need to start using a password manager, because you need to start having secure passwords and passwords that you don't remember. Passwords you cannot remember, that a password manager will remember for you. The only way that you can have so many different logins through your email address is if you use a password manager. You get serious about your password manager. You're going to need to do this anyway, because whatever password you have for Facebook, that you remember it, and someone else could easily remember it, but you want ultimately totally randomized passwords for all your different accounts. So the password manager I use is just what's in the browser. Most of your browsers come with one. You can also purchase a more secure one. All right, then you get to the big step. You deactivate Facebook. You've already migrated all of your messages from Facebook Messenger to another app. You've, over the few years, developed this big contact management system. You've broken your federation, and now you no longer depend on Facebook. You have your friends' birthdays where you need them. You deactivate your Facebook. You only deactivate it. You don't know if you're going to need to get back onto Facebook for some emergency purpose, so you deactivate it. And you give yourself 3 to 5 years of it deactivated before you even consider deleting it. When you deactivate your Facebook, that does not deactivate your Facebook Messenger. Once you are ready for that, once you've really migrated away from Facebook Messenger, you can delete your Facebook Messenger. And honestly, this is the one that most people are more afraid of, because that's where they're really socially connected. Okay, deactivate your Facebook Messenger. And finally, if you really want to have a place to share your life, and you should, because people care, and that we live in a big world where we can't see everyone. So maybe you need to consider having a blog. So this is how you leave Facebook. It's simple. You end your addictive behavior. Then you own your network. You migrate your contacts to other networks. You stop posting any new content on Facebook. And after you've stopped adding any new content or connections, you download your data. Then you disconnect your Facebook account from other apps, because actually your Facebook is logging you into many other apps. You deactivate Facebook for a number of years, meaning that your data isn't deleted, but you're not looking at it. You deactivate Messenger. And finally, maybe you delete Facebook, I don't know. And an alternative is to create maybe a website or another thing for yourself, something that you own.